want to be remembered? And I thought his answer, of course, was just perfect. He goes, I want to be remembered as being a good teammate, respected by all the coaches and my peers. I want everybody to know I love the game of football.
And the Denver Broncos have taken Super Bowl 50.
Beer, Broncos, and
Hello
no BS.
again, Broncos country.
Welcome
Really
to
excited
Beer,
to chop up some
Broncos,
Broncos.
Orange Weekly. No politics, just football.
Since an early age. Not since 97, I ain't miss a game. Came up with TD and Rod Smith. I was riding with the team when they got the chip. Before the Chevrolets and the Lobster. I remember Elway's helicopter. I'm telling you, that man was a monster. Way before he had his hands on a roster. He turned the Broncos to a powerhouse. So you know I got a shout out to Johnny Elway. He important, man. He the reason that I'm always rocking orange, man.
Orange Weekly, what is up, everyone? My name is Kev. You're watching the first ever episode of Bourbon, Broncos No BS. We did change it from beer because why the hell not? We can do what we want here at Orange Weekly. And if you guys still want to grab that beer or whatever, that's perfectly fine too. So I'm glad you guys are watching us here tonight. Hit that share button for me. Post some comments, questions. The Broncos did beat the Browns. We are heading the bye week, but that does not mean we have a lack of stuff to talk about. And now I'm going to go ahead and bring in our guest for today. Jared, how you doing, buddy?
I'm doing pretty well. I love that you're joining in on the glasses thing. That's pretty cool. Also,
I just want to be like
our Broncos
you.
are coming off of a win. Yeah, okay. Look, our Broncos are coming off a win. You got to be happy about that, no matter who we beat. But there's a lot of things to talk about. Like you said, it might be the bye week, but there's lots to talk about the last game, lots to talk about what's coming up forward. And I'm pretty excited. Also, I'm excited that we've officially named it Bourbon, Broncos, and No BS. Maybe we'll switch back to beer when we start playing better.
Yeah, that'd be nice, guys. I know it looks like the video's jumping just a little bit. Hang with us. We'll see if that internet will catch back up with us. But, dude, we had a great conversation last night on Orange Weekly After Dark. A bunch of stuff going on. And I know people are saying, we beat the Browns, so what? But it's still a win. And so what is your thought of, not only the first half of the season, but the fact we beat the Browns going to the bye week and just where do we go from here?
So my initial thought is exactly what we've been saying all season, Kev. It's we're not a 2-6 team, and that shows. Right now, we're talking. We might need to worry about future and other people that we're playing in the future, but right now we're not as bad as another 2-6 team, and I think we showed that by beating and doing a pretty good job of handling the Cleveland Browns, who has a star-studded offense. And a star-studded defense, but just can't seem to put it together.
Yeah, I mean, first off, I know everyone's excited about Brandon Allen, and I did get in trouble for calling him Josh Allen last night. I'm sorry, guys. It's a force of habit right now, but I did practice 20 times a day. Brandon Allen. But look, he's a step up from Flacco, and that's not saying much since Flacco's, set the bar pretty damn low. And if you ask me, a drunk monkey would do better back there than Flacco, and maybe that's being a little harsh. But here's what he did. I mean, we saw what Brandon Allen, a guy who just started for the first game, came out there and looked confident. He looked comfortable, and he made plays. He extended plays. He was able to run. He got us a couple first downs, and versus just holding onto the ball and taking the sack. And that was something that I think we all needed to see. So I think that. There's some things we can talk about that, but for the time being, we can expect him to start for at least the next few weeks, and it's at least fun to watch the offense be able to look as good as they did.
Right, and what I love about Allen is that we could talk about him being the future, him being whatever, but right now he is a great game managing backup. And he's not only a game managing backup, but he's a game managing backup who trusts his receivers and knows that he has trust for receivers. That's by far probably my favorite thing about what happened in that game is that he just gave the ball to his receivers and let the receivers do what they are there to do. He let our first round pick get the ball into open space and see what he could do, and it worked. He let Cortland Sutton go up on a jump ball, and in no way is that the corner's fault because he was in perfect position and Cortland Sutton just went up and got it. That's what we've been missing this entire time, and that's why this whole Scangarello is afraid to go. We could talk about that all day, but we didn't do anything different. The only difference was the quarterback trusting his receivers and giving the ball to the people that can make plays.
I do want to get to some of these comments, and I do appreciate everyone joining us here tonight for Bourbon Broncos No BS. Grab that bourbon, beer, whatever you want to drink. Kick back, relax, and post some comments, questions. We're glad you're here with us tonight. I'm Kev Dan. This is Jared. Hit that share button for us, and we're glad you are all here. I took my glasses off because I can't see they're not prescription glasses. So,
well, you're so bright, I had to keep mine on.
I know. So Red Cloud's in here. Israel, how you doing? Ryan, what's the topic today? Man, there's a lot of topics today. Red Cloud, Allen. Red Cloud says Allen is the future. I think he's saying the future quarterback. Where do you see Allen falling into all of this with, Drew Lock maybe getting the last two games is what Mike Kliss was reporting the other day, just the last two games of the season. And do we keep him? Do we use Drew Lock as trade bait? I mean, there's a lot of speculation going on here, but is there a certain situation that you would like that's the favorite of all of them and how this is all going to play out?
Where I'm sitting right now, Brandon Allen played well, right? We talked about that. He played very well against the Cleveland Browns defense, who has some very good athletes on there, very good corners, very good edge rushers. He has some other issues to deal out. I want to see what Brandon Allen does as we go forward. In the next game we have to play, in the game after that. Now, you're right. I think Drew Lock might get a couple starts towards the end of the season, but I don't think it's going to happen right away. And the reason being is he managed that game very well. Don't get me wrong. He managed that game very well, but he didn't show anything in there. His accuracy was still a little bit off, right? He had 1 week of practice with the starters. Let's see what happens when he gets a full bye week and a full week of practice with the number ones. as opposed to just a half a week, which is what he got last week. His timing was a little bit off on some of them. His pocket presence is a little bit off. As you saw, there was the one play where it didn't look like there was a lot of pressure, but everybody, the quarterbacks that talk about the quarterback time clock, and his time clock went out. He was back there for too long and he kind of freaked out a little bit. It's going to come with time. As far as being the quarterback of the future, we got to see where he goes with it. Once he goes and takes that next step with that kind of those issues, that's when we're going to become a better football team, and he's going to be a better quarterback for it.
Oh, I think so. I mean, that's the whole thing is, we're getting a quarterback that at least has had some game experience because, before kickoff of this last game, both our starting and our backup quarterback had 0 game experience. And that's why, it's one of those things that we can talk about more as the end of the season comes closer and you have a better idea of how many games Drew Lock gets and stuff. But there's several different situations that I could see this playing out. And honestly, I would like Brandon Allen to stay our backup. And again, this is just based off the one game, the one data point. But if this continues to be a solid, just consistent play for him, then that's not bad backup play. We don't need him to be fantastic. We just need him to be steady and consistent. And I think that, he's probably trying to find a place that he can stay versus being this journeyman quarterback and being a long-term backup for the Broncos, I think is a great outcome for Brandon Allen.
So there's the one thing that I want to caution all Broncos fans, and I think a lot of people are thinking this, and I hope it's not just me, but this is very deja vu-like with the Trevor Siemian, Paxton Lynch debate that we had. Trevor Siemian, a late-round pick, not a mobile. He's a little bit mobile, but he's a very good game manager. And then you have this other guy who's an early round pick, and everybody wants to see what he could do and hope he can get out there. And then we have this quarterback battle, and it just seems like deja vu all over again. By the way, I hate that saying. I don't know why I just said that. It seems like deja vu. It really does, because now as we go forward, we have this late round draft pick who's playing pretty well. We don't know what we have in Drew Lock because he hasn't really been able to play in a full regular season game. And now we have this kind of quarterback controversy, which we've been having basically since Peyton Manning left.
Yeah, this is something, and every time they show that graphic of all the quarterbacks the Broncos have had, and it's just like one of their favorite things to bring up during games. It just makes me sick to my stomach because we all know. You don't have to remind us. We do have Israel here is from Fairbanks, Alaska, which I think is fantastic. Ooh. We have viewers all over the place. Tim Hunhoff, watching on the watch party there, is from Oklahoma. Man, you guys are fantastic from all over the place. One question I want to ask for you, Jared, there, and before I get to Red Cloud's comment, did Scangarello buy himself another year as the offensive coordinator with this last game?
How do I phrase this? His job was never in question.
Really? Okay.
I don't think so. And I know a lot of people have been worried about this. A lot of people have been talking. There's been a lot of things that have been posted in the media talking about how he's not willing to go for it. He's not willing to do this. He's not willing to do that. Let's talk about a quarterback that we had in there. I don't care what plays you call. The quarterback's the one that makes the throws or doesn't make the throws and has a 9 QBR.
Right. Now, because that's what I was going to ask was, if Flacco had stayed in, would Scangarello's job still would it be in question at the end of the season?
So, and here's the thing that people aren't doing, right? And us as fans and a lot of these people that are writing these posts, this is what they're not doing. They're not looking at the tape. The tape doesn't lie. Right. And when you look at the tape and you see that guys are open, or you see that there's opportunities that were not taken by the quarterback instead of taking the sack or throwing it out of bounds or rushing whatever he did, that's when you look at it and be like, okay, maybe it wasn't the system's fault. Maybe it was a single point of failure, and that's why the quarterback is such a highly rated and highly sought-after position in the NFL, is because that person can make or break an offense no matter how good the play calling is, no matter how open your receivers are. If the quarterback can't get him the ball or see that the receiver's open and make his reads, then you're not going to have a good offense. I don't think Scangarello was the and you know this, and if you guys have been watching for a while, I've always been on Scangarello's side. I don't think his play calling and his system was the problem. And I think we saw in a backup quarterback who hasn't played a single snap throwing more touchdowns in one game than Flacco threw in the entire month of October. Like, that is trusting your receivers, and that is a system that it went executed properly. And I don't even think we executed it fully. I think there were still some issues that we had out there, again, with the rookie quarterback taking a couple sacks and, just doing, a couple missed throws here and there, a couple bad timings as we have. If all of that was clicking on all cylinders, we would have no issue with what Scangarello was doing. and the other one too, and I know I'm ranting here, but the other one too is people talking about how he wasn't aggressive enough. Well, he wasn't very aggressive. We threw 45 times in one game, and that's how we had 9% of 9 QBR. We threw 45 times trying to get the ball downfield. If the guy throwing the ball can't get the ball downfield, it doesn't matter what you call.
No, and the reason I bring this up is because, I've heard them talking about on the radio about this with these kinds of questions. And, at the end of the day, look, I wasn't happy with Scangarello. But at the same time, yeah, the tape doesn't lie. And what I foresaw happening before Flacco's injury was at the end of the season, everyone was going to be calling for Scangarello's head more than Flacco's, was my prediction.
Yeah.
And when Scangarello did not get fired, I think everyone would have been up in arms. But now they've seen what can happen when we have a quarterback that's mobile, can make, confident reads and just put the ball in a position for Cortland Sutton and other players to just catch it, right? It doesn't have to be perfect, but it just try to do something that's at least somewhat logical, safe, making good reads. And if you can build on this is what we should be expecting from Scangarello's offense. And just like you said, it doesn't matter how well you call a game if the quarterback doesn't just hold on the ball and accepts 9 sacks in the game, essentially, And in fact, I think with Brandon Allen's play, it made the offensive line look better too, because he was mobile. He was able to step away from people and, instead of just standing there. So it's just kind of like Peyton Manning, not to compare too much, but we had a bad offensive line with Manning too, but he was able to adjust, through audibles and whatnot to make the offensive line look good. And I think that's what Brandon Allen kind of did in his mobility.
Yeah. And Alonzo and Ryan here both agreeing with us, like a little bit more of a mobile quarterback, someone that can escape the pocket when need to and extend plays is exactly what he needs. Also, look what he did with Jimmy G and Nick Mullins. These are guys that he's coached up and coached these seemingly average quarterback. Now Garoppolo obviously is doing very well right now, but these seemingly average quarterbacks to turn him into superstars. Backup quarterbacks turn into superstars because of this system. So give him a little bit of time. I'm not saying he's a perfect OC. I'm not saying he's the one that's going to bring us to savior and we're going to have a 40-point scoring offense in the future. But I am saying don't throw in the hat. And it's funny for me too, because, I've been on the Scangarello side for day one, right? And last week when everybody was bashing him and all this other stuff. But it is funny for me to look at all the backpedaling posts and backpedaling. I'm not going to name certain media outlets that are out there. Like, these are the things that Scangarello changed in his offensive scheme that made it better. Like, he didn't change anything. He didn't. 99% of those plays, I'd say almost all those plays except for the direct snap to Phillip Lindsay, you probably have seen before.
Right. 100%.
We just didn't execute it.
That wild card was pretty cool, though. So, nobody expected that.
That worked out like a charm. Yeah, that wildcat was pretty cool.
Yeah, very cool. Let's see. Yeah. Clemmy from Tampa, Florida even says we're better with Allen hands down. And, we did do that Broncos Brawl, the very first ever segment of Broncos Brawl last week with you and David. And David's not here this week. And in fact, Team Puffball, I'll show you here if you guys haven't seen the post. Team Puffball is on vacation right now over in Europe and in Israel and thereabouts. So, he's representing Orange Weekly from across the world. And it's just fun to see Team Puffball going wherever we want them to send, wherever we want to send them. So there you go.
Team Puffball's he's 1-0 against me, but I think I get the last laugh after last week. So.
Well, that brings me to this next point is, when David gets back, we got to have another Broncos Brawl. Those who want, who think Elway's job is not even in question versus those who want him gone. And if you guys want to start prepping for that now for a couple of weeks when he gets back, I think that'd be a good next Broncos Brawl. So, but
I agree. I'm going to have to hit him up and see what side he wants to take.
Well, I don't want to, we should just not tell him and then put him on the spot again. Cause that was part of what made it so good.
That's funny.
Anyway, guys, you're watching Bourbon. See, this is the first time we're doing Bourbon Broncos No BS. Grab that drink, kick back, relax. Keep out posting some comments, questions. Love to hear what you guys have to say about the Broncos right now. I know it's the bye week, but there's still some things that we need to address moving forward. We got some tough games up ahead of us. I believe the next 3 out of the next 4 games are on the road, starting with going to the Vikings, and then we're on the road again to Buffalo right after that. So these are going to be some tough games and some big challenges. Now, Jared, I want to ask you one thing. The Players Association several years ago basically came out and it made the deal with the NFL that players have to get at least 4 days off during the bye week, 4 consecutive days off. And what the stats have shown is that where it used to be that teams on their bye week, coming off their bye week, had an advantage and were winning more games than losing. Well, now, since this rule's been in place, the teams coming off the bye week have actually been at a disadvantage because they're not in, they kind of fall out of their rhythm. They're not actually getting hands-on and studying, and whatnot. Now, the interesting thing is Coach Fangio and company have decided that the players should get an entire week off. So do you have any thoughts in terms of what this entire week off could do in terms of our preparation for the Vikings? Is it going to be positive, negative? Just any predictions you have there?
So our team, the Denver Broncos, are a very talented team to begin with. We have a lot of talent and we have a lot of new pieces in progress. I think the biggest part is going to be the game plan. I think while we're giving the whole team the week off, the Fangio's giving the whole team a week off. He's not giving coaches a week off. The coaches are studying film. They're looking at what they've done wrong. And, I was listening to, I'm talking about podcasts, but if you guys don't listen to the Tomahawk Show, it's Joe Thomas and Andrew Hawkins who do a Browns kind of an NFL podcast called the Tomahawk Show. And they're both forward players. Joe Thomas is the record for most consecutive snaps as an offensive lineman. And he was saying during their bye week, when they're during their bye week, they love that time off because they could actually go and relax a little bit and come back a little bit more refreshed. And even they would look at their mistakes. It gives the coaches, and he was saying what the coaches would do is normally during the week, you're so focused on the next opponent, you don't really get to look inside and see what your consistencies are. It gives the coaches a chance to see what their consistencies are and maybe see if there's something that we're calling every 3rd and 11 or every 2nd and 2, we're calling the same play. And maybe be like, okay, let's switch that up a little bit. So that's what's happening behind the scenes that you guys aren't seeing. And I think that's going to help us because, again, we have a very new coaching staff, and I think that's going to help that new coaching staff going into the rest of the season and hopefully rejuvenate the Denver Broncos. Because, again, there are some people, I'm not going to name names, who need help on our team, right? But I don't think they need so much help that they can't give them a little bit of time off and let them go relax with their families.
I think it'd be nice. I just the end of the story is Jackson over on the watch party here says we have the Vikings after the bye. This will be the test. Ryan, I love his optimism. Spoiler alert: Broncos will beat the Vikings, and we're not going to get into score prediction stuff this week. That'll be next week, obviously. But I do have to announce here on air that I was wrong. I took the Browns to win. I was dead wrong. I'm very happy to be dead wrong about that. But it is going to be interesting to see how the Vikings play this next week because they did just lose to Kansas City against, Kansas City had their 3rd string quarterback in, and they were able to beat the Vikings, which, we all kind of just are hoping the Chiefs lose, right? But it didn't happen. The story, though, is even though the other 3 teams in the AFC West won last week, we're only 1 game behind the Chargers and the Raiders right now. So seeing how they do this next week during our bye is going to be interesting because if you ask me, I don't think we're in the running for a playoff spot, but it'd be very nice to finish not at the bottom of the AFC West.
Hey, David laughed at me pretty hard when I said playoffs. He was like, this guy's talking about playoffs. Obviously we're optimists and we're fans and we want to go 10-6 now, right? Like that's the goal. That's the goal. And I think that's everybody on the team's goal. Like, you can be realistic all you want, but I'm going to be optimistic because I think it's more fun. Sure. Also, it makes me drink more when we do lose. So cheers to that, huh?
Cheers indeed. Guys, if you don't have a drink yet, go ahead and grab one, kick back, relax, post some comments, questions.
So the other thing here is we got, let's see, what was it? With a week off, players go find trouble. I don't think we have those players anymore. I don't think that's really going to be an issue this week off. So Reno, Red Cloud. So he brings up a good point, and I think that we didn't really touch on this, but I think he brings up a good point. We have a brand new quarterback. It's time to go figure out a good scheme to fit this quarterback into. Add a few more plays, add a few more things in there, and I think that's what the coach is going to do. That's a really good point that I didn't really think about.
I didn't think about that.
It's a brand new quarterback. We got to fit his talents. You know, a system is only as good as their quarterback, and if we can exploit that quarterback's talents, then we're doing a favor to ourselves, and if we're not, then we're doing a disservice to ourselves.
No, that's a great point. And man, I never even thought about that. That's something we're definitely have to think about. Scott here, he says that that comment there with players finding trouble. I do want to mention Scott because on the show last night, he had a very good to the official Orange Weekly conspiracy theory that Bryce Callahan does not exist. He added into the fact that Bryce Callahan is actually Miles the mascot.
Oh, God.
Right?
Nah.
We never see him.
Look. I mean, he's on the sideline sometimes. Like, go give the guy a little bit of credit. I mean, oh, that's funny. I'll take that. It does suck that he hasn't been able to play, and we're just kind of slow playing his injury. But, oh, man. I mean, I do want to see what happens when he gets back. And let's not forget, as we're talking about players, Harris, first name Jackson.
Shelby?
Is this Harris?
Shelby?
No.
I know who
the
you're talking
corner.
about.
Maybe it's not Harris.
Who's the other Harris's name,
Oh, my
guys?
gosh.
Help us out.
Why can't I think of his name right now?
Well, while you're looking that up, Richard does say that you look like a quarterback.
Nice.
And he also asks if we're busy in 2 Sundays, and I'm going to say yes because that's the next time Broncos play. So I will be busy in 2 Sundays.
Devontae Harris.
Ziggy Workman, I'm pretty sure is Andrew Workman, one of our donors at Patreon. While you're looking that up, Jared, I'll go ahead and go into this spiel. Guys, patreon.com/Orange Weekly. That link is up in the description of the video up above. If you guys want to help out, donate to us a little bit. Guys, we appreciate you guys watching and you being fans of the show and everything. It's fantastic. Any donations you make to Patreon, our Patreon, goes straight back to you. It does not go into our pockets. That money goes straight to buying better cameras, lighting system, microphones, all that stuff, so that we can bring you guys better shows. If you guys want to go donate, there are even more perks for you guys. We do a monthly giveaway drawing for those who donate. I'm kind of running late on that. I need to figure that one out soon. And then you're not only going to be entered into that month's prize drawing if you donate in let's say the month of November. You're also going to be entered into the end of the year prize drawing as well. So if you donate $1 for 1 month, you don't only get into that month's prize drawing, but the end of the season prize drawing as well. So all this money you guys donate to us at Patreon, it goes directly back to you guys. So if you guys want to check that out, we appreciate all your support either way, and it's pretty fantastic stuff. Keith says, and Joe says, Devontae Harris.
Yep, I found it. So Devontae Harris, and as we're talking about corners and how Bryce Callahan's out and how we're having issues with their cornerback spot, he was such a great light in that game. You know what? He was playing so well against 2 of the top receivers in the league, like 2 of the most, I wouldn't say top receivers, but 2 of the most electrifying receivers in the league. Some guys that can make ridiculous catches, and he was just playing so well. He had a couple of knocked balls. He had a couple of good tackles in the open field. And, it's great to see these guys out there just dominating when, most of our guys, because of such of our shitty drafts, and we can get into that later, are guys that no one really knows. And these guys that need to step up to be able to A, win their job, and B, prove to themselves that, hey, I'm first round caliber and you missed on me. And I think he's one of them. And that's on defense. And then obviously, we have Alexander Johnson too is the other one, and he's just been playing lights out there at linebacker, and it's just something that's cool to see. He's leading the league and leading the team in tackles by far, and he's filling holes, he's getting out. And we talked about not being able to cover tight ends. Man, that guy is doing a damn good job of what he's doing.
It's funny you mentioned him because I saw a post today. I can't remember who put it on Twitter, but Pro Football Focus has actually ranked Simmons as the number 1 safety in the league, and Jackson there the number 1 linebacker in the league. And these were both players that were struggling under Vance Joseph, and in half of a season under Vic Fangio, they have improved to being the number 1 players in their positions respectively in the NFL. And if that doesn't tell you something, I don't know what does. I think it's fantastic. And Jared, I think you froze for a second there, so I'm going to keep talking until you come back. But let's see what else we got. There you go. You're back.
All right, you're back. I'm back.
You're back.
There's some freezing stuff in there. Look, I love seeing these guys play so well, and I love seeing these guys. And we're talking about Justin Simmons might be, and this is consistent. And I don't think people have been really watching this as bad as our season's been going. Justin Simmons is continuously the top 5 safety every single week, no matter how well we do. And it's unreal how well he's doing. He's up on a contract this year. We got to pay that man. If we could keep him, Chris Harris, I mean, our secondary is going to go back to what we remember it being. And the way Devontae Harris is playing right now, we could, and we have Callahan coming back, Devontae Harris in that slot cornerback. I mean, I think we could go back to having some version of the no-fly zone that we used to have, but we have to figure out how to pay these guys. And once we get rid of Flacco's whatever ridiculous millions of dollars we gave him, then we have that cap space to be able to play with.
Which brings me up to actually another good point we talked about last night. Somebody, I think, I can't remember who it was last night, somebody mentioned the possibility of trading Joe Flacco. And my first thought was, nobody's going to want Joe Flacco. Hell no, that's not going to happen. But then I thought about it a little bit more. Teams are desperate out there. You know, somebody with just veteran experience to be a backup and whatnot. What do you think the odds are of somebody, essentially us just saying, somebody take Joe Flacco and the $13 million or $10 million guaranteed $13 million contract he has, and just give us a 6th or 7th round pick for him. Essentially just saying, we don't want him anymore. If you take his contract, we don't care what we get back. Do you think that's something the Broncos would be trying to do? Because if you ask me, I don't want to pay that 10 to whatever, it's 10 or $13 million next year. So I don't know if you heard any of that.
Did we sign him? How many years did we sign him to? I'm trying to look it up.
2 years.
So
and originally
contract.
he had 0 guaranteed money for the second season. Then his contract was restructured with John Elway leading that, and now he has, I'm pretty sure it was $13 million guaranteed this next year. So I'm not sure why John Elway did that, but I would be willing for any team to just take him off our hands. I don't care if we get nothing in return. But what do you think the possibility of some team wanting to take him off our hands after seeing what he did this year?
So it's too late now. First of all, he's injured. This is the second injury.
I'm talking free agency,
ending injury.
Or after the Super Bowl.
So free agency's gone. We can't. There's nothing we could do about this season. There's nothing we could do about this season,
Next
and
year.
I get that. Like, the trade deadline's passed. Next year, we're not going to play him. We could try to trade him in free agency over the off season, but who's going to take him? And you're right. I think what it would end up being is kind of like a Brock Osweiler type trade from Houston, where it's like, hey man, we'll give you something and Flacco to take off this cap hit that we're getting. That's basically the only thing I could think of doing. Maybe getting a late, like giving like a 4th round and getting a 6th round or something like that, or giving a 3rd round and getting a 5th round, something like that, and Joe Flacco just to take the money off the table. But I don't think that's going to happen. They might try to restructure. They might try to do some stuff. Flacco might retire. That's the option too. And if he retires, then that voids that last contract too. So we'll see what happens. He's injured. He's not playing well. And that's something that's got to go through his head. And John Elway's been known to talk some quarterbacks into worse things. So if he could talk him into retirement and not worrying about that second year of the money, then we could do that. But we'll see what happens. I don't know about trading, or if we trade him, it's going to not be a good deal for us. I'll tell you that.
And at this point, I don't want a good deal. I just don't want to have to pay that guaranteed money to him so that we could use it for someone like Simmons.
Yeah.
That's my
I agree with you 100%. Him and Chris Harris, both of them need contracts this offseason, and I want to keep both of them. You know how much I love Chris Harris. I don't care how people think he's getting old or not doing well. He's still a shutdown corner, and I think he needs to be a Bronco for life.
Do you think that he'd be willing to take a hometown discount? Because I think he's going to be asking for a lot of money that John Elway isn't even going to consider. Do you think if John Elway made an offer of, we can't pay you what you want, but you can stay at Broncos for life and here's a reasonable deal, do you think he would take that?
It depends on how Elway approaches it. Because last year, the way that he approached his contract last year, and he only got 1 year, was not friendly to him as a player or him as a shutdown player, a top corner in the league. I think what he needs to do is he needs to come out the way he did with Von Miller, like, hey man, you're a top guy and we want to keep you. Let's figure out what we can work together and talk and start those talks early and continue those talks. The problem with Elway and the way that he's been dealing with things lately, and we can talk about all the Elway's people think are Elway's issues, is that he always waits till the last minute to make offers or to like even start the conversation with players he knows that are going to be restricted free agents or unrestricted free agents. Like with the Von Miller thing, he didn't even start talking to Von Miller until like 2 weeks before the free agency started.
Right.
So we need to make sure that he's talking to these guys from the beginning, not the end. He needs to keep that conversation going, not just come out with an ultimatum.
So how do you think he's going to approach the Simmons issue or this Chris Harris issue? Is he going to do the same thing he's always done and wait? Or is he actually going to say, hey, if we can find a way to keep Chris Harris here as well as re-sign Justin Simmons, man, this is a backfield that could be very strong over the next couple of years, at least one more year.
Yeah, I mean, those are our two biggest names on our free agency list right now.
So is he going to wait?
I don't know. I don't know what he's going to do. I'd like to think that he learned his lesson. But I don't know. He might have something up his sleeves. He's a better businessman than I am. He's a GM for a reason.
Right.
I'm sitting here doing an Orange Weekly show with you guys, not sitting behind the desk of John Elway and the pressure that he has to deal with and all that other stuff. There's a lot that goes into it, but that's just my opinion. I think he needs to keep the conversation open because these people are players. These players are people, right? They're people too, and all they want is a conversation. Hey man, this is what I want. What can you give me? Let's go back and forth. Let's figure out how to keep me here because I love playing here. They all said it. They love playing in Denver. What do we need to do to keep you here? As opposed to being like, all right, here's your ultimatum. This is what I'm paying you. Get in or get out. And I just don't think that's a good business tactic.
And then Steven asked a good question. I want to get to his comment here in just a second. If John Elway is watching this, because he likes to drink bourbon too, I'd imagine that on a Tuesday night, he'd like to kick back, relax, drink some bourbon and watch some Orange Weekly. It's unconfirmed, but maybe that happens. Steven does ask, what about a regime change? And we know the Broncos ownership is going through this whole debacle. Do you think there's going to be any sort of turnover once? And I'm very sure that Bethany Bolin will take over because she's been the one that's going through all the wickets that her dad set in stone for what they have to do to become the owner of the team versus Brittany, right, who's just throwing a bitch fit. Do you think when Bethany Bolin takes over, is there going to be any kind of turnover within the team that's, she sits there and says, hey, it's my team now. Here are the changes I want to make on the front office side of things? Or is she going to say, you know what? We got John Elway. Let's just keep it going.
That's such a tough question. There's so many ifs. There's so many situations that can happen. And there's so many ifs. Like, if this happens, what do you think will happen? I'm not a fan of that because you're right. Bethany Bolin's probably going to take over, but nobody knows who she is as a leader. Nobody knows who she is as an owner. Right now, all we know is her from, we don't don't really know much about her or who she is as an owner. We know from the face and her dad, she loves the Broncos. Like, cool. So do all of us. I don't know what she's gonna jump in and say as she gets in here. For all I know, her and Elway have like a hatred for each other. I don't know. There's stuff that we don't know about.
So let me ask you this way then. Are the Broncos suffering in any way from there not being a dedicated owner right now?
Yeah, absolutely. I think the reason we're suffering is there's no pressure from the front office. There's no pressure from the front office to do certain things, to get certain numbers, to do what we need to do to be able to be a good football team. Now, there's a lot more than the on-field play, and you'd like to hope that the staying separate. But the way that we have our organization set up is that the two are very much combined, and that could be very beneficial. Like you saw Super Bowl 50 year, how beneficial it could be that the front office and the players and the coaches are all an intertwined family. And people like Green Bay, that works out really well for. People like Kansas City, that works out really well for. but it's not a one size fits all thing. Now look at New England. They keep their front office and their coaches and their players so separate. Like they're like, you do you, we'll do us. We'll take care of the backside of things. You take care of the stuff that's on the field, and we'll go from there. So it's kind of a give and take on what it is. And right now, because of the way that our system is set up, that we have a very close relationship with our front office and the coaches and the players, that I think there's a little bit missing there. And I think that fire and that drive to do well isn't there because there's no real owner. There's nobody really pushing that. Hey, we need to make this a better organization. Like, we are not losers. Like, we never have been losers. And that's why it's so hard for us to sit here and be like, wow, this is the third season that we're losing. Like, for the first time ever. I don't know.
So the first decade of the Denver Broncos were consecutive losing seasons. This is the first time since the first decade of the Broncos' existence that we've had more than 2 seasons of more losses than wins. Just so you know. Little fun fact I learned the other day.
Oh, man. That's tough to swallow. Ugh.
So Andrew comments, even though he's not a Bronco fan, I do appreciate him watching the show. Says, I bet he is legit. I'm guessing he means that she is legit, like Bethany Bolin, but just want to throw that one out there. Ziggy also says she's a mystery. So who's the bigger mystery right now? Bethany Bolin or Bryce Callahan?
Okay, can we not with the
Dude, it's the bye week. There's not too much to talk about other than just jokes.
So which one's Miles? Is that what you're saying?
Just which one's more real?
I mean, we've seen what Callahan can do in Chicago. I've never seen what Bethany can do.
Touche. Red Cloud says, I think anyone will be better than Joe Ellis, and I think it's going to be interesting to see what happens with him once we do get a solid owner. Ziggy says Bryce is more of a mystery, so that's pretty good. And Andrew thinks Elway is legit. Okay, some interesting things there, guys. Again, my name's Kev Dan. You're watching Bourbon Broncos No BS with my co-host Jared, the co-founder of Orange Weekly. So always good to have you on, man. Guys, hit that share button for me. Absolutely. Hit the like button. Give us a react, even if it's an angry face. I don't think it would be an angry face because you're all watching this Broncos show, right?
Why?
And then check out all of our other stuff, our podcasts, our shows. And I think, Jared, if the talk is correct, we're going to be doing a kind of a bye-week, kind of first half of the season recap podcast here soon.
Yeah. So I think we're gonna get all the guys together, all the pods with the pre and post game guys together, and I think we're gonna get you on there and just get a bunch of us together and sit and talk about what is up with the Denver Broncos this season. We got to talk about where we came from, like what happened in the first. What are we at? Week 10 now?
Yeah.
Where are we at? Yeah. So and what happened in the first 10 weeks and what can happen in the next 6. So. I think that'll be cool. I think it'll have us all on the podcast. It'll give us a lot to talk about and kind of throw some ideas around that's not just for us and give some listeners some insight on what each one of us is thinking. Because, and Kev, I know you're in our chat, obviously, and sometimes we disagree a lot. We always agree on the show sometimes about like, what we think this and that. But it is interesting to see. We do disagree on a lot of things. I think it'll be fun to get us all onto one podcast and talking about what we think went wrong, what we think went right, and what we need to do going forward.
Yeah, and I mean, it's fine that we don't all agree. And you guys watched, if you watched the show before, guys, this is why it's the No BS show. I mean, you guys can disagree with us. We're not going to call you idiots. You can call us idiots. We don't care. But let's have those conversations. If you think we're saying something you disagree with, well, then let's talk about it. And that's what Orange Weekly is all about and why we're glad you're all here. Scott says women owners can go either way. Detroit did it wrong. Detroit Red Wings, I believe he's what he meant. No, Detroit Lions. New Orleans seems to keep everything the same. So it's going to be interesting to see when this all happens. And who knows, she might take a couple years to kind of really develop herself as an owner and see kind of where the team goes from there. But end of the story. Now, what's more important to you, Jared? Because Jason and I were talking about this last night as well. What's more important to you, the win and losses column, or the fact that we are really close to being having a winning season right now with, say, 3 bad drives that could have won us 3 different games? What's more important in the long run?
So I just want to point out that you almost forgot that Detroit even had a football team.
I did. Totally did. The who?
And I don't want people to brush over that because I think that's hilarious. No, look,
it's the bourbon.
We
it's the bourbon.
So yeah, it's the bourbon thing. So look, I agree. I think it is better. Win-loss column is what wins in this season. It's what sells tickets. It's what gets us into getting more playing time in the playoffs, more game time. It's what gets us banners hung from the rafters. It's everything. It's everything that you need. And you can't sit here and say, oh well, like yeah, we went 3-6 for the first half of the season, but we almost won a couple of games. Like that win-loss column is what wins it, and that's why what separates the good and the bad teams is how you finish games and how you can pull through. And I think with the NFL the way it is, and I've talked about this before, Kevin, the NFL is a combination of elite athletes, and the people that are in the NFL are the best of the best at their position. There's maybe a few exceptions for some people that might be underlooked or might have gotten overlooked and got cut for whatever reason. But for the most part, these are the best athletes at every position. Every single team has the best athletes at every position. So it's the difference maker is how do you finish those games and who has the most heart. And right now, I think that's what we're missing. We're missing a little bit of that heart, but I think it's starting to come together. And, we said that after the Jets game and then we got demolished by Kansas City, but that was, I don't want to.
It hurts.
Hold
Still
on.
Hurts. Yeah. I'm like mentally blocking out that game because, well, it's funny you bring this up, and I don't know if you guys heard it, but so we had high hopes going to the Kansas City game, right? We lost. It hurts, but we didn't really flip out. Did you guys? I don't know if you heard this, Jared. The radio host for the Browns radio network, one of those radio hosts, again. They were, hey, I'm going to pick the Browns. These guys are going to do great. It's the Broncos. This is going to be our comeback moment. The Browns lost. He flips out on air. I mean, straight up screaming on the radio. It was hilarious. So at least we're not like, we can sit here and say, yeah, that sucks. That hurts. And now we're down, but we're not going to freak out about it. And I think that's because we know that we are a better football team than what our record shows. And man, if we can just get a couple changes this offseason, I think that I can't sit here and say that next season isn't going to be. It's got to be better. We can't sit here and be having a losing record because of these players we have right now.
Yeah, and the other thing that I like about this is that as we talk about going forward, right? Like I always like to look to the future, learn from your mistakes, but plan for the future, right? So as we plan for the future in the rest of these games, we can look at what we've done, what we haven't done, and why we were 3 seconds away from winning 3 different games. And what happened? Like where did we go wrong? And you can sit back and couch it all you want and couch coach it all you want, but things happen and you have to look at that and figure out what you need to do to fix it and go forward. You can't dwell on the past, but you got to plan for the future. So I think that's what we need to do. And I think that's what we're going to do on our podcast too. Talk about, hey, what went wrong? How do we fix it? Where do we go going forward? Because if we dwell too much on the past, we're going to end up like the Dallas Cowboys fans and just sitting there saying, oh, remember those Super Bowls we won back in the 90s?
Exactly. Steven asked, and I think it's kind of the first half of his question is kind of, we played out a lot, but he asks, is Elway the problem or is it lack of coaching? And more importantly, how much influence does Elway have? So I think we sat here enough times and said coaching, but not talking about this year. We're talking about the last 2 years with Vance Joseph. Those 2 years of coaching definitely set us back. Now that we have, we've talked about, just what Vic Fangio has done in the first half of the season with this defense and how they've grown drastically since he's taken over. But really, how much influence does Elway have? And, man, we're talking about learning lessons. I mean, what can he be doing differently? Not just, obviously not much this year, but moving forward, what do you want to see from him in this next offseason?
I want to see him draft better.
Better than what he has been doing?
We had a better draft last year, right? Better than what he has been doing. So this last draft class, we had a pretty good draft class. The draft class for that was decent, right? We got Chubb, and we got some other guys going for us. Devontae Spencer seems to be kind of having some issues, and we got him from the CFL, which is great. what I love about bringing Fangio in, and you can already tell and you can already see it as this season goes on. We talked about some of these guys that are really stepping up, like him switching out corners and Devontae Harris coming in for all these other guys that were ahead of him on the line. Jackson coming in for all of these guys that were ahead of him on the depth chart. It's because I think Fangio has a keen eye for talent. And I think he could find out where the puzzle pieces fit. And we're starting to see that. And granted, again, we don't want to get too far ahead of ourselves. It was a Cleveland Browns team who hasn't been very successful this year. But these guys are starting to make the plays that these other guys couldn't because he found that talent. And I think what's going to happen is hopefully John Elway and Fangio can sit down in a room and figure out their board and figure out what are our needs for our team and what talent do you see, head coach, that'll fit into your team, into your system, and to get you where you need to go, head coach. Not, hey, this is my team. I'm John Elway. This is the Denver Broncos are my team, and I want them to have this. I want them to have a 6'6" quarterback who can't lead a pack of Dolphins, right? We need someone that's going to be like, hey, head coach, who do you need to be who you want to be a successful football team? And that's what we need.
Randy says it seems that we are getting worse each year since Manning. And look, let's face it, the bye week is the perfect point to look back and see where we've been and where we need to go from here. It's a break for everyone and kind of time to really look through and kind of see what's going on. So, what is your take? We're still probably going to have hopefully not another losing season, but do you really see growth since we lost Manning?
No.
Really?
No, and we talked about this. We've talked about this before. The growth that we've seen since Manning has been maybe this year. As shitty as it looks, as shitty as our record looks right now, the only growth I've really seen has been this year. And I do think VJ had a lot to do with that. And I don't want to say that, right off the bat, VJ was just a terrible coach for us because he did some decent things for us. There's certain things that he brought in that made us a better football team, but not very far and few in between. And what we see now is that growth is going to have to come back. We're kind of hitting a rock bottom because we're getting all these new guys in to change the culture of what we've been missing for the past 2 years. And it's very hard to change a culture overnight. It's very hard to change a culture in one season. But look at things like, I don't know, I don't want to bring them up, but look at teams like San Francisco. San Francisco was god-awful last year. Now they're the only undefeated team less in the season. It's a change of culture that takes a little bit of time to really develop and really become what you need. And unfortunately, you can't just come in as a coach. And this is the same thing for college, the same thing for high school coaches. You can't come in and inherit a team that has this culture of like, well, we didn't respect the head coach because he didn't really do much. And now you're supposed to come in and I'm supposed to respect you and figure this out. Until that camaraderie comes through and they can really understand what's going on and really feel that team camaraderie as they go forward. And once that starts clicking, once that starts becoming a thing, you're going to have a dynasty. And ultimately it's just going to be one of those things like Mike Shanahan was one of those guys that it took him a little bit to get his feet off the ground. But once he got his entire team was his and the entire team respected what he did and what the team was doing and everyone was on the same page, it was just successful. Like that's how that worked.
It's going to be interesting to see because I like Fangio. I think he's, and I keep going back to that moment in that press conference after they fired Vance Joseph and they were beginning the coach hiring process. And John Elway said essentially he wants somebody younger and somebody with prior head coaching experience. Those are the two things that he said. If anything more than he wanted somebody who had prior head coaching experience. And he said that in front of everyone. And then a couple weeks later, here comes Vic Fangio with zero head coaching experience. And I don't know what made him change his mind in that week to 2 week period. I think that this is a guy that's going to be around for a while. I really like what he's doing. You just, again, look at the defense alone this one season. I think this is a guy that is that old school, no nonsense kind of guy that we need.
Yeah, I agree with you 100%. I think it's crazy that our season was better 2 years ago and last year than it was this year. And I still have more faith in Fangio than I ever did Vance Joseph. And that says something. I think most Bronco fans that I've talked to and most of our followers, they all kind of think the same thing. I have more faith in what he's doing with this Bronco organization as a shitty record as we have than I ever did with what we had with Vance Joseph. And it's just a feeling, and you could tell that he's actually trying to change the culture of what we've had for the past couple of years into a winning culture again. And I hate to say it, we go back to the ownership, but I think that the passing of Pat Bowlen really had a hit on our culture. I mean, Pat was one of those guys, and even with his Alzheimer's, would go down to the field and talk to these guys and show who he was and who the Broncos are supposed to be. He's been the one guy that's been there the entire time, making sure that the Broncos were a winning organization. I think we're missing a little bit of that fire, and I don't know what it is that needs to bring it back. That's just, again, why I'm sitting here and not out on the field or out, the front office of some NFL team. But if anybody's hiring, just give me a heads up.
No, you're part of us. You can't. You have to give me at least 2 weeks notice, man.
Oh,
Hey.
yeah. Well, yeah, when they hire me, I'll be there in 2 weeks. I mean, I got to pack up. So.
Okay, let's kind of transition to, and I'm going to put you on the spot here, but I'm going to give you your intro video to think about it. Let's break down because there's some news coming out. There's some news coming about at the Chargers. Let's give everyone a state of the AFC West. Here's your video. And once again, explosions and all, Jared. What's the news on the AFC West? I think we all know the big one, but let's hear some of your thoughts, man.
All right. The AFC West, once powerhouses in the NFL, now just a mere Kansas City Chiefs and then those other teams. We are no longer the powerhouse of the NFL, and now almost the laughing stock of the NFL when people are like, oh, we're playing a team from the AFC West. Is it in Kansas City? Then I don't care. And that's basically where the AFC West sits right now. We have, we have a team who is doing much worse than what we say. And we have a strong defense, but our quarterback situation's been, like Kevin had said, brought up on every single time we play how many quarterbacks we've gone through since Manning. And you have the Oakland Raiders who, well, let's be honest, it's the Oakland Raiders. They're laughing stock every year. We don't really have to worry about them too much. And they're leaving for Vegas next year. So they're leaving for Vegas. Oakland's mad. Vegas, this stadium is not being built properly. It's not even almost ready to where it needs to be. They're going to have nightclubs in there and drinking and drugs. And I don't know. And then you have the Los Angeles / London Chargers. And the news of it coming out, and I do think that a lot of this is speculation. I don't think there's actually any I do think that there is a full look into having a team move to London, and I do think that they're the best option. And I think that the timing of the article really comes down to how terribly green that stadium was when they beat the Green Bay Packers at home in LA. I mean, we already know that the Green Bay Packers they travel well. You know, the Broncos travel well, but the Packers, for some reason, they seem to travel very well no matter where you go. But I could have swore that was a home game for the Packers, and it fittingly they lost, which I think is hilarious. But they cannot be a successful team with that kind of the surrounding. They play an away game every single week, and I don't think there's a single time. Maybe like the Dolphins. If the Dolphins ever came to LA, they'd be like, okay, yeah, we don't have any Dolphin fans either, so let's fill with whoever we can figure out. Let's go pick up some guys off the street and give them a Chargers jersey, or let's go down to the Rams game and give some people Chargers jerseys and tell them it's a free game. So they have so many issues, but. This London thing, I will say this, as fun as it is to joke about it, as great as it is to be like, oh yeah, they're going. The reason the Chargers made the move in the first place is the money. The money in LA and the amount of people that are in our LA compared to even San Diego, they would rather take the 3 times the amount of people that are in LA, 4 times the amount of people in LA, and leave San Diego where they were the sole team to try to get just a fraction of what there are in Los Angeles. The other thing that you need to keep in mind is LA, the Chargers have already put a lot of money into the new stadium that's happening. So there's no way they're going to leave without getting some sort of their money back for the stadium that they're building there in Los Angeles. and they're going to stay there for a little while. So while it's all fun and jokes that they're talking about moving a team to London, it all comes off that the hilarious and the fun times people have poking fun at the whole fact that the Green Bay Packers way outdid anything that could have been light baby blue in that stadium at the time. And that's all it is. And it's, I hate to say this, Kev, you know how much I hate this, but it's clickbait. You know how much I hate clickbait. I hate the whole Scangarello really did much better this year or this week by throwing in new play. He didn't throw any new plays.
Right,
You're clickbaiting people. Stop it.
Stop it. Which, by the way, we can say anything we post is 100% not clickbait. Promise you guys.
Right.
100%.
You can tell
not
by
even
the fact
kidding.
that nobody clicks on it.
Right. Okay, maybe we need to change our game plan.
You're right. Maybe.
And, I already have if this were to happen, I already have the perfect name for them. If anybody watches Family Guy, I think they predicted what the London football team name would be, and that would be the London Sissy Nannies.
Oh, wow.
And I think that fits perfectly with Philip Crimea Rivers.
You're right.
Right?
You're right. It would just be a team full of Philip Rivers. I mean, don't get me wrong. I like some of those Chargers players. Keenan Allen is an amazing receiver, and he's battled back from a lot of things. I don't think he's a sissy nanny, but Philip Rivers is definitely a crier, and just put him out there 15 times and just see what happens, because I think that'd be hilarious.
Okay, Jared, let's move to the schedule. I apologize. I did not update it with the last couple games, wins, losses, but we're looking at the schedule here. Obviously, a lot of stuff going on. We got Vikings on the road after our bye week. Then, shortly followed by the Bills, again, on the road. We got some tough games coming up. We still got to play all three AFC West teams again, the Chargers, the Raiders, the Chiefs. And I'm just curious, Jerry, based off of this one data point of this last week, where do you reasonably foresee this team going, especially knowing that we have a tough game, a tough road, a road stretch ahead of us, and then again ending the season against the Raiders there?
You can't ask me as a fan to think reasonably. I think we've already established that.
Touche.
So
I'm the same way.
Realistically, we are going to have a couple tough games, and I don't think it's because of the teams we play. I don't think the reason that these next two games are going to be tough because we're playing Minnesota, who's having a high-low year this year, and Buffalo, who seems to be able to beat anybody depending on what team shows up. I think what my worry is that we're playing in Minnesota and in northern New York in late November, early December. And we have not had a game yet this year that has really shown the cold. We have not had a game yet that's really been just absolutely disgustingly freezing. And I think we're going to get that one of those two games. There's obviously we have a couple veterans on the team, but for the most team, our team is pretty young. Our offense is pretty young. Our defense, we have some guys from, that have been around for a little while, but for the most part, our team in general is very young. And I want to see what they do with the weather that they're going to be dealing with up there. Both those teams don't scare me too much. They both have very young quarterbacks. They both have very inexperienced offenses, but very explosive offenses if you let them be that way. But I think that with this bye week where it is, I think we have a chance to beat those two teams, Minnesota and Buffalo on the road, come back with a home win. And now we're looking at, hey, we might be able to get to at least 500 going from there. And we'll reassess as it comes along, but because I've been hurt before. I don't want to go and say that we're going 16-0 again, because that was a terrible, terrible mistake on my part. But 10-6 is not unreasonable.
Right. So, again, Broncos, the next two games are on the road with the early time slot on the East Coast. It's going to be interesting, is all I'm saying, to see how Brandon Allen comes out after this bye week. And also after teams kind of get to see what Brandon Allen does and be able to properly game plan against him. It's going to be something interesting. And then just, following the news of Drew Lock, I mean, the second half of the season is going to have a lot of discussion points. And as we get closer to the offseason, kind of seeing where we fall there, hopefully not last in the AFC West is my big thing right now. But just like Augie, if I'm saying your name right, no matter what, I'll always keep hope and faith in the Broncos. Look, I mean, I learned my lesson from picking against the Broncos this last week. I'm sorry, guys. I'm the more optimistic one here at Orange Weekly. I decided to tone it back a little bit, and then I was wrong. So I'm okay with going back to being my optimistic side of things, even if things look all doomy and gloomy. But yeah, guys, if you're watching this guy, we're going to be here no matter what. Look, we've been here for 3 years already. I know we're all dying to be doing this during a winning season, which will happen sooner rather than later, I really believe. But either way, we're going to be here no matter what. And it's always, let's see, it's always fun to just do this stuff and talk to you guys. So Jared, again, thanks for joining me. Any closing thoughts you might have, buddy?
Closing thoughts. I was right.
Usually. That's why you're the co-founder of Orange Weekly.
I want to go back to what we talked about at the beginning because I just love it so much. Scangarello is not the problem. And I think with a younger, youthful, mobile, decent quarterback back there, I think we're going to be a much better team for it. But I will say I'm opted, like we talked about this at the beginning of the show. So if you weren't there, I'm going to bring this up again. I am so cautiously optimistic about this because it's all about deja vu right now. And now we're going to have a young guy and this guy who is kind of like a late round pick that nobody knows who his name is. And both of them, one's playing very well. The other one, everybody wants to see. And then what happens if we do come out of this bye week winning 2 games in a row with Brandon Allen? Now is Drew Lock even an option to play to see what we have? I don't know if he doesn't light up, if he doesn't put up, and this is going to sound ridiculous, but if he doesn't put up Aaron Rodgers-like numbers, we have to see what we have in Drew Lock. And if Drew Lock doesn't put up Aaron Rodgers-like numbers, then we have to see what our options are at quarterback. And that's basically what it's going to come down to. The Scangarello offense can be lethal if you give it a chance to. And it's a offense is only as good as its quarterback. And we've noticed that since Peyton Manning left. That's basically that's the storyline of the Broncos since Peyton Manning left, since Super Bowl 50, since all of the high points that we've had in the past 10 years. That's the storyline, and that's what's going to keep going on if we don't take care of it.
I think the future is bright. I really do. You know, it was tough to really say that after. Look, we were all at least I was on the the Vance Joseph train that first year. Second year, I was like, well, maybe he's learned something and we can go from there. And it's, it just wasn't looking good. And the things we've seen from Coach Fangio and company this year alone, look, we fix a couple things. We get a solid quarterback that's consistent, out there. We fix the left tackle position. We keep building up the defense. And you look at how many games we were so close in this year. I just don't see how we can't get into a winning record, in the next year, even the next 2. I mean, we could be very serious competitors against pretty much any team. And I think it's going to be fun to watch. I know it sucked the last 2.5 years. This next half year still might be not as enjoyable. But if we keep looking and seeing where this team is growing and how they're improving, man, I can't sit here and say that there's not excitement. It's going to be interesting to see how they come back off the bye week, and so for everyone, it's enjoy this next Sunday, enjoy the down week. Obviously root for anyone, whoever's playing the Chargers, the Raiders, and the Chiefs, especially the Chargers and the Raiders, because man, we're not that far behind from being number 2 in the AFC West, and that would right.
Talk about state of the AFC West. When that's a reality, I think we have some issues.
Well, I don't care. At this point, I just want to finish last. I'm trying just not to be too overzealous here. But seriously, you guys have been fantastic. And again, we will be doing that podcast later this week, so watch out for that. But all our shows and everything, except for the Sunday stuff, will continue. We'll see you back next week for the Orange Weekly After Dark episode on Monday night, 9 p.m. Mountain Time. And then as usual, Bourbon Broncos No BS next Tuesday, 7 p.m. Mountain Time. But we at Orange Weekly need a little bit of a bye week as well. I think, Jared, at least for me, at the end of the season, it's like, oh man, the weeks have been so busy with all this Broncos stuff. I'm kind of glad to take a break. And then 2 weeks later, I get antsy. I'm like, okay, I want to get back into it. Yeah. I'm bored. So at least we got
last the whole like, woo. does not last long. That's for sure.
Yeah, exactly. So, okay, guys. Well, I think we're going to head on out here. I appreciate you guys all tuning in. Even if you're watching this video later, go ahead and hit that share button for me. I appreciate all you guys as usual. Jared, thanks for joining us here again tonight. Your glasses are the opposite of mine. So, you know, we kind of do that back and forth thing. But seriously, Jared, thanks a lot, man. I appreciate it.
Yeah, of course. I love coming on these shows, and you know, we started this for a reason. We got to finish it out, no matter how shitty the season is, right?
Oh man, this is the third year we're doing this, and there's been no slowdown. In fact, we keep adding on to our team and keep coming up with new ideas for stuff to do. So Orange Weekly is just going to keep growing, man.
I love it, and thanks again to the people that are watching.
Of course, you fans are fantastic. So thanks again. Neil says he likes the new look. I appreciate it. I mean, last night, Jared, you missed it really quickly. I had my beanie on. People said I looked like I was serving prison time. So I decided to clean up a little bit tonight. Yeah. Put on the polo.
That was different. Oh, is that what you did? Because I still think you're still serving prison time.
Well, I did say that I did serve time. I served 8 years in the Air Force, and now I just don't care, at least until I start my new job.
Gotcha.
So this is me just not giving a crap.
I'm still serving time, so I can't. I just want to be out. I want to be on the other side, right?
Oh man, sooner rather than later. Okay, guys, you have a good night. Enjoy the bye week. Watch for that podcast coming out. Spotify, iTunes, Google Play. You can check all that stuff out there as well. But enjoy your week. Mile high salute to you guys. Have a good night. We'll catch you later.
Hey guys, Shelby Harris here from the Denver Broncos. Just want to give a huge shout out to the podcast Orange Weekly. They do great work and they have great content regarding the Broncos. Also, huge shout out to all the Denver Broncos fans out there. You guys have really just made my time in Denver amazing. And also, even when we were losing last year, you guys came out every game. So thank you guys, and I appreciate you.
9-7, I ain't miss a game. Came up with TD and Smith.